Hello friends. So today we have to start with new topic of your operations research, that is the game theory. Game theory, it is a part of your decision theory. In decision theory, you know that the four type of decisions, like decision in case of certainty, decision in case of uncertainty, decision in case of your risks, decision in case of your conflict. The last one, decision in case of conflict, is a part of your game theory. And we have to apply the term game theory in order to study how we are to reaching the term, the optimum strategies to be followed by a particular person's or particular player so as to obtain the optimum solutions. Here, the main objective of this theory is to underline the basic terminologies. First of all, you have to know what are the most important terminologies like your saddle point, what is called the payoff matrix, what is a zero sum game, and those things we have to study one by one. Thereafter, you have to finding out what are the different method of the solving the games. The solution may be saddle point, maybe mixed strategy, maybe dominant strategy with the help of your graphic solutions or simplex method or the algebraic method also. There are the different type of solutions process are there. And at the end, we also explain the term how to analyzing it, what are the limitations part of it. Now, after knowing the main concept, the objective of the problems, here it is a theory related to the conflict situations, like your duopolistic game. If you take the market scenario of your economics, that is called the oligopolist market, where there existence of your only two players. Here also we take into account the two players. They have their own strategies. A particular player try to, I mean, win over the other players. His intention is to be not to lose the game. That means maximize the game or minimize the losses. You can take the games like your, that is called as stone, scissor, and paper. In those cases, also, what you find the if each player have the fixed strategies. If you start with if you say the stone, your opponent player must be taken into account either the scissor or the stone or the let's say paper. But the second player strategy is to be not to lose it. The first player also be try to win the game. So that is the concept of your game theory. You can take the case of your all the procedure of the game, whether the game of the chess, game of the football or cricket or anything to be there. Everywhere there exists some fixed number of rules, regulations, fixed number of the players and so on. But each and every cases, what their intention is not to lose the game. Their intention is to be win over the others. Therefore, they have to be apply the different strategies according to the strategies taken by the player 1. That means the player 2 take the strategies on the basis of the action undertaken by the player 1. So there is the action reaction to be continued until there is a particular solution by how to win the game. But remember, the ultimate goal of the game to win for the player A. If the player A wins, that means the player B lose the games. But before proceeding, we start with certain assumptions. Here, our target is to study it is a two-person zero-sum game. That way, we take the number of players to be 2. Here, if the number of players to be finite, it's kind of finite number of players in the finite game theory. If it is infinite, it's the infinite game. But our target is the two persons. And the player to be act logically. That means they have to be act according to their given strategies. That means there is no wrong, illegal process to be applied in order to win the game. That means logically they have to try to take the strategies to win the game. Each player serves to be the maximize the game, that means minimize the losses. Each player having the finite number of possible course of action, that is the strategies. Those strategies have to be fixed and opponent known is. Right? If it is known, it is the finite, it is the perfect strategies. If it is not, it is the imperfect strategy are there. We are to preparing the payoff. Considering the strategy, we are to preparing the payoff, and that payoff to be it is a predetermined payoff. It is to be fixed, right? That means both the player know how many strategies to be have each and every opponent components. And if you're preparing it with the help of a matrix, that's called the payoff matrix. Those matrix consist of the different type of strategies undertaken by the player A and player B. Inside the matrix, there are the utilities. Utilities means that whether that will be gain for the A means lose for the other component, other players. Suppose it is given as the 4 in a matrix in the 4, if the given matrix, payoff matrix is for a player A. If it is written as the 4, that means A win by 4, that means B lose by 4. Therefore, the payoff matrix that represents the utilities. So these are the basic assumptions are there, because we have to know how many assumptions, what are the basic assumptions. On the basis of the assumptions, we have to enter into the solutions part. Before, again, you have to know that the different type of solutions are there. Before solution, you have to know how to classify the game. The game can be classified as I cited in the above. If there are the two persons, then it's called the two-person game. If there are n number of persons, n persons games. If the constant sum or zero sum game, if the non-zero means it's the constant sum game. If you pair of matrices are added together, then if they all element turns to be zero, the zero sum. If it's not so, it is all are eliminated the constant number, then it's a constant sum game. That's the non-zero sum game. If the strategy to be known to the other players is the perfect, if it's not known, it's the imperfect game. If the solution exists, it's the pure strategy. If the solution is not there, it's called the mixed strategies. But pure strategy, you have to considering the process you have to calculating the pure strategies. That means saddle point solutions. Max mini must be equals to mini max. But if it is not so, it will be fall under the mixed strategies. Inside the mixed strategies, we can't finding the max mini equals to mini max. So we have to applying an algebraic method to solving the value of the game. So this is the way to classify the value of the game, either on the persons basis or either sum basis and so on. Now, what are the important items of this? The terminologies, saddle point solutions that suggest us where max mini equals to minimax. That means you have to calculate the minimum of each and every row. Out of those minimum, find the maximum. Similarly, you have to calculate the maximum of each column. Out of those maximum, we have to considering the minimum of it. If they are equals to each other, max min equal to minimax, we find the saddle point. And the payoff consists of the different types of strategies undertaking course of action undertaken by both the players. If it is mentioned in terms of matrix, it's called the payoff matrix. If the saddle point exists, then we can find the value of the game easily. If it is not so, we have to find with the help of your mixed strategies by applying the algebraic process. But before that, we have to know what are the type of solutions. Type of solutions consist of the saddle point, which is the pure strategies. It may be the mixed strategies. If it is not a dominant strategy, we can apply graphic solution and simplex method. But remember, all the methods we have to follow with the two-person zero-sum game. We should not consider the other type of game because our university syllabus related to the two-person zero-sum game. So we have to take into account only two players are there and some common component of the strategies are there, course of action. And if you take a particular matrix is given, the matrix payoff matrix of player A, so we have to considering the player A's solutions. On the basis of that, we can find the solution of the player B. Right? Suppose a matrix is payoff matrix is given, then corresponding if you take the same type of matrix and numbers are given to you in the first matrix, just take the same number with the opposite sign, because if you are adding both the matrix, it turns to be 0. Therefore, we take the two-person zero-sum game, right? And dominant strategy to be applicable when there is no saddle point. Mixed strategy to be applicable when there is a 2 by 2 matrix. But even though you can solve with the 2 by 2 matrix or the mixed strategy or the principle of dominance and saddle point, we have to move to the graphic solution. If any of the method we are unable to solve, then the last option we have to solve with the help of your simplex method. Right now, in order to executing it, take an example for that. Let's say here is the problem consisting of your two players, player A and player B. Player A, this is the payoff matrix of the player A, and player A have 4 strategies and player B have 5 strategies. Now, you have to know this is the utilities at the -2, 0, 0, 5, 3. These are the utilities of the matrix. Now, it is written the -2 means the lose by 2 of the player A. That means win by 2 let the player B. Right. So, if the 0 means no one is to be win it. right? Neither the player A nor the player B can winning it. But how to solving it? In order to solve the game, first of all, you have to find the saddle point solutions. In order to find the saddle point solution, we take the minimum of each row. The first row minimum is how much you have to calculate. The second row minimum also you have to calculate. As the first row is to be -2, second row is to be 1, third row is to be -4, and so on for the fourth row is -6. And in the same manner, the first column maximum is 5, second column maximum is 3, third is 1, fourth is 6, 5 and 6 respectively for the fourth and fifth. Now, out of those row minimum, which is maximum, 1 is maximum. Similarly, out of those column maximum, the minimum one is to be 1. So, we find max mini equals to minimax. Both are same. That means there existence of standard point solutions. I mean, the player A follow the second strategy and player B follow the third strategy. If they follow it, then what is the value of the game? Value of the game is 1. That means player A win by 1 unit. That reflect the player B lose by 1 unit. Right? So this is the simplest method way to solving a game theory. We are just finding out the max mini and minimax. We are to comparing the max mini with the minimax. We find the way of the game. I mean to find the value of the game. So it is very easy, but remember, first of all, you have to calculating the row minimum. Out of those row minimum, pick the maximum. Similarly, column maximum you have to calculate. Out of that, you have to take into account the minimum among the maximum columns. Then when they are equal, then is the saddle point solution. That is the pure strategies, right? So value of the game is 1 here. Okay, so this is the way to solving the value of the game if it is given in terms of your pure strategy, or it is called as the saddle point solution. Now, after knowing this particular game, let's say we have to proceed with the second solutions. Let's start with another example, but before that you have to remember value of the game is 1 here, and the player A win by 1 unit means player B is to be lose by 1 unit. Okay. Let's say here the player A have 2 strategies, player B have 3 strategies. Now my target is to solve the value of the game. To solving the value of the game, you have to find what is the row minimum. In the first row minimum, we find it is 1. Second row minimum, it is 4. Out of those minimum 1 and 4, the maximum is 4. Similarly, you have to calculate the column maximum, it is 8. Second column maximum is 9. Third column maximum is 4. And out of those 8, 9 and 4, 4 is the minimum. So we can find the saddle point solution is 4 because max mini equals to 4 and minimax equals to 4. I mean player A follow the second strategy and player B follow the third strategies, and the value of the game is 4. That means player A win by 4 units, player B lose by 4 units. It can be explained like this: A is to be follow the strategies 0, 1. Why to be written as 0, 1? It is so because the player A first is 0. I mean, he doesn't play the first strategy, rather you have to play the second strategy. Player B similarly follow the third strategy, not follow the first strategy, not follow the second strategy. Therefore, it is 0, 0, 1. And the value of game is to be written as 4, and that to be plus 4. That means player A is to be win by 4 units and player B lose by 4 units, right? Let's start with the second problem. Here it is a matching coin problems. In this case, we find there is a pair of matrix is given to you, and player A have the 2 strategies 1 and 2, player B also have the 2 strategies 3 and 4. It is written as 3 and 4. Whatever the case may be, we have to remember first and second strategy. Okay. Now, what is the value of the game? In this particular case, again, row minimum is how much? first row minimum 4, second row minimum 3, maximum is 4, okay, and column maximum is 4, thereafter is 6. So out of this 4 and 6, 4 is to be the minimum among it. So we find the max mini and minimax both have 4. That means we find the value of game is 4. The player A follow the first strategy and player B follow the also the first strategies. If you written in terms of your equations basis, A it will be 1 0 and B it will also be 1 0 because both the players follow the first strategy and the value of the game is 4. That means player A win by 4 units, that reflect the player B lose by 4 units. So it is a very simple technique, but before solving the problem, first of all you have to take the row minimum, column maximum, pick the minimum among the maximum among the minimum, and comparing it. Thereby we can check it whether they are equal or not. So if they are equal, we find the value of the game to be there, right? That's all. Thank you for all. Thanks.